In 689 BC, King Sennacherib burned Babylon and redirected the Euphrates to wash the city from the earth. The total eradication failed. Within a few generations, Babylon returned, emerging more dominant than it had ever been before. This established a bizarre historical pattern. Invading armies like the Hittites and Kassites would successfully sack the city, only to be seduced by its language, its customs, and its gods. If setting the city on fire and drowning it in river water only culturally infected the conquerors, what could actually kill a city that refuses to die? Geography made Babylon inevitable. Situated at the narrowest point between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, it functioned as a mandatory hub for every trade route in Mesopotamia. King Hammurabi transformed this wealth into a new form of centralized control. He standardized justice across his empire, carving his decrees into a massive black stone pillar for all to see. This legal system established a ruthless eye for an eye philosophy, though justice was far from equal. A wealthy citizen could pay a fine for a crime, while a slave faced execution for that same offense. The city's intellectual weight was just as heavy. Babylonian mathematicians understood complex geometry long before the Greeks, and their astronomers mapped the star charts we still use to navigate the cosmos. Babylon was the operating system for ancient civilization. It wasn't just a location on a map, it was a cultural force that seemed impossible to permanently delete. Fast forward to the Neo-Babylonian Empire under Nebuchadnezzar II, a period defined by gold-plated temples and vast tributes flowing in from captured territories like Jerusalem. He turned the capital into a fortress, encircled by double rings of walls 350 feet high and deep moats that made it the most fortified city on Earth. The city's entrance was designed to intimidate. Visitors passed through the Ishtar Gate, a dazzling archway of blue glazed brick, adorned with images of dragons and lions. Towering over the streets was the Edamanenki, a 90-meter ziggurat that reached toward the heavens, the real-world inspiration for the biblical Tower of Babel. By this era, the world agreed on one thing. Taking Babylon by sheer military force was an impossible task, but the fortress was rotting. Tame Nabonidus abandoned the capital for years to pursue the worship of a foreign moon god, breaking the city's sacred bond with its patron god, Marduk. This obsession alienated the powerful priesthood and fractured Babylon's unified identity, leaving the city's spiritual and political defenses in ruins while the walls remained standing. October 539 BC. Inside the walls, Prince Belshazzar threw a lavish, arrogant feast while ignoring the encroaching Persian threat. While the lords drank, Cyrus the Great diverted the Euphrates River into an adjacent basin, lowering the water level until the riverbed beneath the city walls was dry. The Persian army silently marched right under the brass gates through the mud. By dawn, the greatest power in the ancient world had surrendered without a single battle. Not a single drop of blood was shed. The impregnable fortress simply opened its gates to a new master. The walls were useless because the city's internal soul, its cultural and spiritual unity, had already collapsed. The Persians didn't burn Babylon. They kept it as a vital administrative capital, continuing the ancient cycle of cultural assimilation. 2 centuries later, Alexander the Great entered the city as a liberator. He planned to rebuild the Tower of Babel and make Babylon the capital of a global empire. But Alexander died in Babylon before his dream could begin. His successors abandoned his vision, deciding instead to build a brand new capital on the Tigris River. This decision was the final blow. As the administration moved to the new city of Seleucia, the trade route shifted, and Babylon's economic heartbeat slowly stopped. With no reason to stay, the citizens simply walked away. The great canals choked with silt, and the gardens were slowly swallowed by the desert sands. The greatest megacity in history died because the rest of the world caught up to its brilliance and simply walked right past it.